Hello all you lovely people and welcome to another video of mine. In today's video we're going to be talking about Dragon's Dogma 2. Now I'm playing this on my PC, which is the Asus ROG Strix G15 Advantage Edition from 2021. And the reason why I'm making this video is because this is not just my standard or usual playing. I have a couple of things going in the background. Now what exactly are those couple of things? That's exactly what this video is about. So with that said, let's get started, folks. Now, the first thing that I want to disclose, or disclaim rather, is that I am playing Dragon's Dogma 2 with a cheats trainer. So what I've done is I've got an application called Plitch, which is a cheats trainer, and I'm running that in the background. Now, I have already made a dedicated video on Plitch on my channel. Should you want to check it out, you can check that out. I've spoken about the plans, I've spoken about the security aspect, and I have spoken about how to use Plitch. So I'm not going to cover all those things. And the second thing that I want to disclaim is the fact, not disclaim exactly, but this is more like sharing. And I'm sharing that I am also playing this game with lossless scaling turned on in the background. So I have this game set at 1440p, and I am playing this in a windowed mode, but I've got lossless scaling turned on. Now with that lossless scaling, what I'm getting is a lot of frame generation. So I have the Steam FPS counter right on top. You would see that on the left hand corner on the top side. Unfortunately, it has not recorded the lossless scaling FPS counter because it has the FPS counter overlaid on top of the Steam FPS counter. And I'm going to share all about that as to whatever FPS you are going to be seeing in this video on screen. You can expect at least 2 to 2.5 times because of lossless scaling. And even the recording that you're seeing, if it was being recorded at 20 frames per second, then obviously it would not be as smooth as you see this recording to be. But the first thing that I want to start off is the Plitch cheats trainer, because I want to talk about both the pros and cons so that you make an informed decision. It's important to share this information. And here's a breakdown of why some people might find using cheats trainer enjoyable, like me. For instance, if you want to overcome difficult challenges, if you're stuck on any particular challenging boss fight or a section of a game, using a cheats trainer can help you overcome that hurdle and progress further in the story. This can be especially appealing for casual players or those who just want to experience the narrative without getting frustrated. Let me give you an example. For instance, I have for a very long time wanted to play Sekiro or Souls games. And before Plitch, I could not even think about playing them because I am not one of those gamers who really likes to grind. And I appreciate that in gamers who actually put in the hours, who put in the effort, and who excel in Souls-like games. And I am not one of those people, unfortunately, who has that patience of going through the same level over and over again. So, for a person like me, this is obviously subjective. It becomes easy for me to experience the game's narrative without getting frustrated, if you know what I mean. Now, apart from that, cheats trainers, they can also open up unique ways to play the game. What do I mean by that? You have an option of unlimited ammo, you have a god mode, you have unlimited or infinite health, infinite stamina in a game like Dragon's Dogma 2. So what this means is that you can run forever, infinitely, without having to worry about your stamina meter in a game like Dragon's Dogma 2. It lets you traverse the vast landscapes and it helps you cut time, because if you don't like doing a lot of back and forth, if you don't like traversing a lot, because the maps in Dragon's Dogma 2 is pretty vast, and what that infinite stamina helps you do is cover a lot of ground in a short period of time. Now, apart from that, God mode could also help you unleash chaos and experiment with different approaches which you wouldn't normally try because you would have the fear of just dying in a game. So, This can be a fun way to unwind and explore the sandbox environments of some games, like Dragon's Dogma 2 is also a very, very big game. So it kind of helps you overcome these, I wouldn't say shortcomings because they're not, they're definitely not shortcomings, but it will help you overcome the grind that you have to put in otherwise. Now, if you're more interested in exploring the world or the story of a game, cheat trainers can let you bypass tedious grinding that I was talking about for resources or experience points. Because I don't know if you have noticed already, but when I go into the pause menu, just make sure that you take a look at the amount of credits or the coins that I have in this game. When I started this game with Plitch, I just put in over 100,000 coins in my account. And apart from that, even the RC or the experience points that I wanted to put in, I just put it in. And with that, I started off at level 1000, if you know what I mean. So just pay close attention to when I get to the pause screen, take a look at the level stats of the player. My player, that is, I mean, me. It would be level 1000, which is insane. Apart from that, even for your pawns in this game, you can have God mode turned on for your pawns so they will never die. So, for players with disabilities or limitations that make playing certain games difficult, cheat trainers can be a way to adjust the difficulty and create a more enjoyable experience. But it's not all rosy. There are cons also that you have to consider. At the end of the day, that's exactly why I'm making a video like this. And one of the biggest cons to consider is ruined challenges and accomplishments. Now, what do I mean by that? A core part of many games is the satisfaction of overcoming challenges and completing objectives through skill. And using cheats can remove that sense of accomplishment and make the game feel, well, less rewarding. It also spoils your immersion levels because the carefully crafted difficulty curve in some games and balance of some games can be disrupted using cheats. Now, this is what I was talking about. If you didn't see the pause menu, you could just go back a few seconds and then pause the screen and check that out. My coins and my level stats, that is. And I was speaking about spoiling the emotion levels. So, this can definitely break the emotion and make the overall experience less engaging. Now, apart from that, if you are playing a multiplayer game, then using cheat trainers in online multiplayer games is strictly against the rules and you can get banned. So it also disrupts the fair competition for other players. Now, apart from that, the last one that I want to talk about, cons, and this could be important to some, is that by bypassing these challenges and grinding, you might actually end up finishing a game much faster than intended. Now, this can leave you feeling like you missed out on a significant portion of the content, or you may even feel cheated that, hey, this did not offer hundreds of hours of gameplay. Now, it's funny that I mentioned you may feel cheated. Well, actually, you are cheating. So, using cheat trainers, and that might leave you with a sour taste in your mouth because if you're expecting hundreds of hours of gameplay from a game, using cheat trainers can actually cut that down by half or less than that. So, the reason why I wanted to point out both the pros and cons is because ultimately, the decision of whether or not to use a cheat trainer is a personal one. If you're aware of the potential downsides and use them responsibly, they can enhance your enjoyment in specific situations. However, it's important to remember the core gameplay loop and sense of accomplishment that many games are built around. Now, the last good thing, last positive that I want to say about Plitch is that you can turn these cheats on and off at any time you want. So, you can start the game with no Plitch cheats turned on, but if you're stuck somewhere, if you have not been able to overcome that particular challenge, then you can use Plitch for that short period of time, and then you can again turn these cheats off. So, what I mean to say is that you have the best of both the worlds. So, you can progress in the game without getting stuck, and at the same time, you enjoy the original vision of the game developers. So you're not breaking the game that ways. You're not spoiling the hundreds of hours. So it can offer you that balance as well. That's why I mentioned that you have to use cheat trainers like Plitch responsibly. And it all depends on you personally as well, what kind of cheats you would enjoy in a game. Now, enough talking about Plitch, because I also wanted to cover lossless scaling frame generation. And the reason why I wanted to cover that is because this is a very taxing game. Now, especially on my computer, which has an RX 6800M, which is dedicated 12 GB graphics card. But even with that, when I was running the game in 1440p in high to medium settings, I was getting less than 30 FPS. And if you check the screen right now, it had dropped down to 20 to 22 FPS. Now that is insane, and it is unplayable, I would say. At 22 FPS or 20 FPS, it is unplayable. That's why I chose to go along with lossless scaling frame generation, and I have a dedicated video about it as well on my channel. Please do check it out. How to use it, what settings do I personally use, and how it benefits you. And speaking about benefits, while you may see 22 to 24 FPS on screen, this has not recorded the lossless scaling frame generation's FPS. Now I can share my experience. I was getting at least a bare minimum of 48 FPS using lossless scaling frame generation. And even the gameplay that you're checking out right now, I'm sure is reflective of that. In fact, there were times when I even got above 60 FPS. It went up to 70 FPS as well in some scenes. And I did not lose any of the visual fidelity because I kept it at the settings that I would like. So it did not have a lot of pixelation. It had a lot of flora and fauna in the background. And even the characters, they still had detailing in and around them. So I was absolutely satisfied while I was playing lossless scaling frame generation in the background. And you know what? The reason why I made this video is because some of us may have this question. Can you actually have two simultaneous applications running in the background while you're playing a game like Dragon's Dogma? And this video actually answers that question, because not only do I have lossless scaling frame generation playing in the background, but I also have Plitch Cheats Trainer. So I have both of them running with this game. And it does not interfere with the performance of the game. In fact, it only alleviates, or rather improves, the overall performance in my personal opinion. And lossless scaling frame generation makes a huge difference when it comes to playing Dragon's Dogma at 1440p on a machine like mine with those high settings. So this has been my experience, and I made sure that I recorded. What do you think about this? Please let me know in the comment section. And please let me know if you have actually used lossless scaling frame generation or even Plitch Cheats Trainer. What are your thoughts? I would love to hear from you lovely folks. But as far as this video goes, well, I think I'll call it a wrap for this one. But before I go, if you've liked the content, then I would greatly appreciate it if you could hit that like and subscribe button, and also share this video with friends of yours who are into gaming, because it definitely helps with the YouTube algorithm. And apart from that, I do make videos on gaming. So I upload every Wednesday and Sundays. So if you are a gamer like me, there is a lot more content on my channel, which I would appreciate if you check that out. With that said, again, it's a wrap for this one. I will see you lovely folks in my next video. Until that time, I'll say take care, stay safe, and may God bless you all.